Alright, at a carnival you can win tokens worth 2 points and 5 points, and trade them for prizes. You have 10 tokens of each kind. How many different point totals can you make by using one or more of these tokens? Alright, well, this problem is easiest if you break it up into evens and odds. So if we count the number of even numbers and the number of odd numbers, that'll be easier. So let's first of all start by looking at evens. Okay, so to get an even number, we can either take, basically any number of the 2's. So we could have 2 or 4 or 6 or 8 all the way up to 20 because we have 10 of them, right? Or we could take an even number of the 5's. So we could have 10 or 20 or 30 or 40 or 50 because we have 10 of them, right? That'll give you evens. And actually any combination of these 5's and these 2's will give us an even number. So, you know, we could have 12 or we could have 14 or 22. We could have down here, this would be 30 and so on and across. So 52 all the way down to, 70? So basically we can make all the even numbers from 2 to 70, alright? 2, we can make 2, 4, 6, 8, all the way up to 70. So how many even numbers is that? Well, if you just divide that, all the numbers by 2, you still have the same number of numbers, right? So that would be 1, 2, 3. They turn into counting numbers and we get 35. So we have 35 even numbers. Okay? So now let's look at the odds. Odd numbers. So to get an odd number, we'd have to have at least one 5, right? Because we have to have an odd or an odd number of odds or an odd and even. That will give us an odd number, right? So we could have 5, we could have 15, we could have 25, we could have 35, or we could have 45, and that's as high as we can go. That is 9 5's, and 10 5's will give us an even number. So, and then to that we could add any number of even numbers. Okay, and so if we start with 5 and add any even number, then we'll get another odd number. So 7, 9, and so on, all the way up to 25 if we add all 10 of the 2's to one 5. Okay, and we could add 2's to this, so 17, 19, all the way up to 35 if we add all of those 2's to 3 of the 5's. Okay, and so on. This would be 47, 49, all the way up to 65. So it looks like we can make all of the odd numbers from 5, 7, 9, all the way up to 65. So how many odd numbers is that? Well, what I would do to figure that out, I'd probably, first of all, maybe subtract 1 from every number. So 4, 6, 8, all the way up to maybe 64. Divide those all by 2. That's 2, 3, 4, all the way up to 32. But then I have to subtract 1. So that's 1, 2, 3. And then I have a set of counting numbers. So I end up with 31 odd numbers. Okay, so all I've done is if I do do the same thing to every number, it doesn't change the number of numbers. So it's just easier to count if it's in a list of counting numbers. So I'm not changing the number of numbers, I'm just modifying the numbers and leaving the number of numbers the same. Okay, so that's how I'm getting that. So if I add 35 and 31, whoops, if I add 35 and 31, if I draw my line correctly, 35 and 31, we end up with 66 total sums that we could get. So we get the evens from 2 to 70 and the odds from 5 up to 65. So 66 numbers total.